They say every queen eventually raises another. But what happens when the crown isn't handed down, it's earned? What happens when a young girl, just 13 years old, doesn't wait for the world to notice her? She steps into the spotlight and owns it? This isn't just a cute mother-daughter moment or another celebrity kid living off her parents' name. This is history. Because when Mariah Rogers, the daughter of Melody Shari, walked into New York Fashion Week, she didn't come as a guest or a plus one. She came as a creator, a designer, a visionary. And the moment those models hit the runway wearing her tennis-inspired collection, something shifted. It wasn't just fashion. It was legacy. It was the visible proof that even the most painful past can bloom into the most powerful future. But to understand how this young queen took over one of the biggest fashion stages in the world, we have to go back to where her mother's storm began. Before the flashing lights, before the applause, before anyone knew the name Mariah Rogers, there was Melody. A woman fighting for her life, her peace, and her family under the glare of reality TV. We all watched it unfold, the public heartbreak, the betrayal, the humiliation that came with her marriage to Martell Holt falling apart for the world to see. It wasn't just gossip, it was a woman being broken down in real time, episode after episode. Melody wasn't just fighting for a marriage, she was fighting for dignity. And when it all crumbled, she could have disappeared. No one would have blamed her if she chose to stay quiet, to just heal behind the scenes and never look back. But that's not who Melody is. She took every ounce of pain and turned it into power. While the world was busy gossiping, she was busy building. She started small, working late nights, creating her beauty brand, 7th Avenue Beauty, by hand, one product at a time. She poured her heartbreak into her business, her dreams into her children, and her faith into her future. And while most people were watching the show for drama, she was planting seeds. Seeds that would grow into something bigger, something her children could one day stand on. That's the part people missed. Because Melody wasn't just surviving, she was setting the stage. And years later, that stage became New York Fashion Week. Fast forward to 2025. A bright stage, flashing cameras, editors, and stylists from all over the world sitting shoulder to shoulder. And then, a young girl from Huntsville, Alabama, not Hollywood, not New York, steps out with her name printed on the official lineup of designers. Mariah Rogers. 13 years old. Making history. Her line? Fresh. Bold. Fearless. Inspired by the sport of tennis, a symbol of precision, strength, and elegance. The kind of collection that makes people stop and say, "Who is this?" And the answer wasn't Melody's daughter. The answer was Mariah Rogers. Her design spoke with confidence far beyond her years, pieces that blended youth with sophistication, playfulness with power. Each look that walked down that runway told a story, one of growth, of resilience, of vision passed down and reimagined. And the moment the show ended, the applause wasn't just for the clothes. It was for what those clothes represented. A new generation breaking barriers. A mother's dream coming full circle. A daughter proving that legacy isn't something you inherit, it's something you build. What makes this story even more powerful is that Melody didn't push Mariah into the spotlight. She prepared her for it. Every business meeting, every late night spent working, every time Melody showed up even when she was exhausted, Mariah was watching. She saw her mother's strength. She saw her resilience. She saw that no matter what life threw her way, her mom never stopped believing in herself. That kind of example doesn't just inspire a child, it shapes them. And that's why when it was finally Mariah's turn, she didn't hesitate. She was ready. Backstage, as models slipped into their final looks, Melody stood nearby, not as a celebrity, but as a mother. She wasn't just cheering, she was glowing. Because she knew every sacrifice, every tear, every moment of doubt led to this. People forget that Melody once had to rebuild everything from scratch. Her name, her finances, her confidence. And now, here she was watching her baby girl take the world by storm. That's not just success. That's redemption. But here's what makes this story even more magical. Melody didn't just show up to support her daughter. Her own brand, 70th Avenue Beauty, was part of the show. Her products, the same ones she used to sell by hand when no one believed in her, were being used on professional models in one of fashion's biggest moments. Think about that. From tears on reality TV to having your products grace the faces of runway models. From being mocked online to being celebrated at New York Fashion Week. That's a full circle moment. And she didn't do it by stepping on anyone or selling out. She did it by staying true to herself. And the best part? She brought her daughter with her. Because Melody's story was never just about revenge or proving people wrong. It was about building something right. Something her children could own, continue, and expand long after the cameras stopped rolling. That's what legacy looks like, not just fame, but foundation. As the night went on, videos of Mariah's show began to flood social media. Clips of the collection, shots of the audience clapping, pictures of Melody hugging her daughter backstage. And the internet couldn't stop talking. People who had followed Melody since her love and marriage Huntsville days were in tears, writing things like, "She really turned pain into power, and this is what healing looks like." Fans were emotional, not just because of what they saw but because they remembered where Melody came from. They remembered the heartbreak, the loneliness, the strength it took to stand again. And now they were seeing the fruit of that strength walking down the runway. Even those who didn't know Melody's story could feel it. Because you can't fake energy like that. There was love, grace, and pride radiating from every angle of that show. It didn't feel like a PR moment, it felt real. And that's rare in today's world. Behind all the lights and applause, there's a deeper message here. When a mother heals, she changes the future. When she refuses to stay broken, she rewrites the story not just for herself, but for her children. Melody could have chosen bitterness. She could have spent her time online clapping back or chasing headlines. But instead, she built. She created. She taught her kids what purpose looks like. And now we're seeing the result. Mariah isn't a one-time headline, she's a blueprint. Proof that even when a family goes through public chaos, there can still be beauty born from it. That even after betrayal, something good can still grow. And that's what makes this story so emotional. Because we've seen so many women fall apart and never recover from public heartbreak. But Melody did the opposite. She took the very thing meant to destroy her and used it to build an empire, not just for herself, but for her daughter. And let's talk about Mariah for a moment. Because this young queen handled New York Fashion Week like she's been doing it for years. She wasn't overwhelmed or intimidated. She was confident, poised, focused. When her mom texted her a picture of one of the models wearing her design, her response was pure joy. "Oh my God, I love it." That innocence mixed with confidence, that's something special. And Melody allowed her to experience that moment without pressure. She didn't rush her or make it about herself. She gave her space to shine. Because real queens don't compete with their daughters, they crown them. As the crowd left the venue that night, it wasn't just another fashion event. It was a declaration. A reminder that no matter where you come from, you can create your own table, your own runway, your own moment. For Melody and Mariah, this wasn't about clothes or fame, it was about reclaiming identity, breaking generational limits, and proving that excellence can come from anywhere, even Huntsville, Alabama. It was about showing that Black mothers and daughters can thrive together, not in spite of pain, but because they turned that pain into purpose. And the most powerful part of it all? They did it with grace. No drama, no revenge, no shouting matches, just quiet, undeniable success. That's the kind of energy that can't be denied. That's what it looks like when healing turns into legacy. So yes, Mariah Rogers made history. But it's the how that makes it unforgettable. She didn't do it through privilege or publicity. She did it through preparation, through the example her mother set when no one was watching.